All right, so I have Kefa Ojijo, an advocate as well as an analyst here in studio, and we're just taking a look at some of the local dailies and the top stories. Kefa, good morning.
Morning to
Merry
you.
Christmas, first of all, despite the fact that it is the last Friday of the year.
Merry Christmas.
Okay.
To you.
The very first page of the Standard, Kalonzo's return back to Nairobi after months in Germany with his sick wife, who now is hopefully feeling much better. Yeah. But his return has come back with a lot of sentiment and a lot of call to action. What are your thoughts on this? He had highlighted, actually, on page, let me just even take our viewers through it. On page 8 of the Standard this morning, the demands that he made, that is, just right there on the top corner, constitutional demands, and of course calling for fresh elections, the introduction of a parliamentary system, and the more autonomy for counties, security shared between national and county governments. What do you make of his return and them still saying that we plan to reinstate Raila Odinga?
This is what we call the political fire. You see, the biggest question within the public mind has been that where is Kalonzo? We've seen him missing in action for a period of time, and of course, his commitment to the sick wife is unquestionable. But however, he also had a big role to play in the national politics, and so many people have been wondering, where is this guy? Why is he so quiet? I mean, did he shift camp? Is he somehow in a connection with Jubilee? But I think now he has affirmed his position clearly, that he has no position, he has no connection in Jubilee. His stance and his fidelity still remains to NASA, and that he wants things done the right way. Kalonzo is just echoing what Raila has been saying all along. You see, that the fact that they were never sworn in doesn't mean that they cannot be sworn in. This is a debate we've discussed here a lot of times. I do not wish to go back to it again. But the reality of the matter is that when Raila Odinga did disappoint his supporters, or did not, to the expectation of supporters, accepted or acceded to be sworn in, he, however, came out publicly and told his supporters the reasons as to why that did not happen. And these are the reasons that Kalonzo are echoing. One of them is that because the international community had approached them, and some, the stakeholders, the key stakeholders, felt that there was need for dialogue before an action is taken. And when they did retreat, I think that was the first priority in the agenda, that they were going to have a discussion, a dialogue. And this dialogue was not just a dialogue to share the government. The most important agenda was to ensure that the electoral reforms are dealt with.
And I remember U.S. Ambassador Robert Godek saying that Raila decided not to participate in the October polls. That was selfish for his 6 to 8 million supporters, really.
You see, I do not wish to go back to this thing. We've discussed it over and over, and I think it's even time now to put it to rest. But the reality of the matter is that the withdrawal, or I think the postponement of swearing in of Raila and Kalonzo was informed by goodwill. I think these are also Kenyans and nationalists that believe that dialogue can be given a chance. I watched a feature aired by your TV station that Raila stated that he had given time for dialogue, to grow between him and the Jubilee, but up to now the president has not reached out to him, or even his running mate Kalonzo Musyoka. And these are the reasons that the fact now, you see, politically, if you can see it, politically, if you weigh it, then it simply means that by Raila now, postponing, or by not him, leaving to the expectation of his supporters to be sworn in, politically you can say that the bargaining power somehow dropped on his side, you see, somehow dropped. But on the other hand now, legally and, morally, you can see that they were giving a chance to dialogue. But now Jubilee can easily say, you know what, we think that things are coming back to normalcy. We do not care about you so much right now.
Yes.
But now that is where now the problem is going to come.
Exactly, and that's what's going to be my next issue, or the point of discussion. It's the fact that we've seen Ruto, Deputy President William Ruto, as well as Uhuru Kenyatta saying that there's no room for dialogue, that would have to wait till 2022. We're a divided nation. Isn't dialogue what Uhuru and Uhuru and Ruto should be championing for?
That is where I think Jubilee has missed it, because we should not personalize presidents in this country. We should not make leadership be on our all self-interest, rather than serving the public and the public interest. The questions of electoral reforms are questions that have been discussed since independence. I think if you look at the Agenda 5 of the Kregler report, that is the most outstanding feature that was outlined to be dealt with. And it's the reason that even NASA principals have decided to hold on, to also hold their horses and make sure they can have something that can benefit both parties. That people must sit down and agree that in future there will be no more stealing of votes. There will be no more electoral, injustices happening in this country. So that when you want to become the president, your vote will have to, to matter and count. There's no need then people to queue over, hours within a day to vote, and then their votes do not matter at all. So for me, I think it is a very important matter. We may not say then, therefore, that Uhuru Kenyatta should not fear that when people discuss serious electoral reforms, then it simply means his position is going to be ousted. We are going to oust his position immediately. You see, it is that we need to come up with a clear roadmap, a clear, plan for the next future election that we are going to have in this country. Because as things stand right now, you will bear this in mind, and you will agree with me that Kenyans no longer even have faith in electoral process in this country. No, in fact, we'll have voter apathy come in 2022. People will not turn out to vote. And who wants to be in such a democracy, you see, where those who do not vote, therefore, determines who becomes the president? It should be the other way around.
Right.
Yeah.